Hello, friends. Today, I want to take you deep into one of the most baffling and haunting disappearance cases of the 21st century, the story of Brian Shaffer. As we go through this story, I want you to keep in mind how fragile our perception of safety can be. One moment, everything seems normal, and the next, someone vanishes without a trace. This is not a story with simple answers, and as we explore it, I will share my thoughts and reflections on the mysterious aspects that continue to puzzle investigators and the public alike.
Brian Shaffer was a 27-year-old medical student at Ohio State University. By all accounts, he was an intelligent, ambitious young man, deeply committed to his studies and his future in medicine. But what struck me when reading about him is how relatable he seemed. He had a circle of friends, enjoyed social gatherings, and had that ordinary charm that makes someone unremarkable yet memorable. Sometimes, the more ordinary a person seems, the harder it is to comprehend their sudden disappearance. He was described by friends as caring and responsible, always willing to help and genuinely kind. It's the ordinary people, like Brian, whose sudden vanishing feels so much more disturbing because they are not the kind of person you'd expect to disappear without a trace. It challenges our understanding of safety, of social norms, and of how we think about danger in everyday life.
On April 26, 2006, Brian decided to unwind at a popular bar in Columbus called the Ugly Tuna Saloona. It was a typical Wednesday evening, and the bar was alive with music, laughter, and casual conversation. From the descriptions of that night, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Friends were joking, drinks were being poured, and the normal rhythms of social life carried on. But here is where the first mysterious element appears. Cameras placed throughout the bar recorded his every move, until suddenly he didn't appear on them. At 10:30 p.m., Brian was seen on surveillance footage ascending the staircase to the upper level of the bar. He entered the hallway, chatting with friends. Moments later, he had disappeared. No one saw him leave, and the stairwell, which was the only exit to the second floor, showed no sign of him on camera. Think about that for a second. A building monitored by cameras, filled with people, bustling with activity, and yet he vanished. I find myself asking, how is that even possible? Were there gaps in the surveillance? Did someone manipulate the system? Or is there a much more chilling possibility that something happened to him in those fleeting moments that no one could see or understand?
Friends initially thought that Brian might have stepped outside for a moment or taken a taxi. The police, upon being alerted, conducted exhaustive searches, not just of the bar, but of nearby alleys, surrounding buildings, and the university campus. They even checked basements, attics, and every conceivable hidden space. Nothing. No trace of him was found. Brian's phone offered faint glimmers of hope, sporadic signals that seemed to indicate activity, yet no one could confirm what these signals meant. They were frustratingly ambiguous, a teasing breadcrumb of the presence that had vanished. Personally, I find this detail one of the most haunting. It's the uncertainty, the possibility that he was there but unreachable, that gnaws at the imagination.
Over the years, countless theories have emerged. Some suggest foul play. Perhaps someone was waiting for him in that bar, someone who knew he would be there. Others propose an accidental death, concealed or overlooked. And yet each theory struggles to reconcile the facts: a monitored environment, the absence of physical evidence, and no credible witness accounts of an exit. I often ponder the psychological dimension of this case. What goes through the mind of friends and family when a loved one disappears in such inexplicable circumstances? The anguish, the endless questions, the what-ifs? They create an emotional landscape as haunting as the mystery itself. The ordinary world suddenly becomes a place of doubt and fear.
Even beyond the physical and logistical mysteries, there are the subtle, eerie aspects of this case. Surveillance footage showed him walking into the hallway, and then nothing. No blackouts, no sudden glitches in the camera. It's as if he dissolved into the environment itself. To me, this raises questions not about the ordinary, but about the strange, the uncanny, and the limits of our perception. Sometimes reality can be stranger than fiction. As we examine disappearances like this, I find myself reflecting on the unpredictability of life. One minute, everything is familiar and safe. The next, the world holds a gap, a void where someone used to be. And that gap, that absence, resonates far beyond the individual. It challenges our sense of control, of understanding, of certainty.
Brian Shaffer's case remains unsolved, a haunting void in modern criminal history. It is a stark reminder that even in places we consider secure, bustling cities, monitored buildings, familiar environments, the unpredictable can occur. As an observer, I am left with reflections on vulnerability, on the fragility of our perception, and on the sheer depth of mystery that human life can hold. For families, friends, and even casual observers, cases like this provoke profound contemplation. It's not merely about the missing individual. It's about the uncertainty, the fear, and the haunting thought that, in some way, the world is not entirely knowable. And maybe that is the most unsettling lesson we can draw from Brian's disappearance.
Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Brian Shaffer's mysterious disappearance. I hope that by reflecting on this story, we not only remember him, but also contemplate the fragile and unpredictable nature of our world. Stay with me for the next story, another case that challenges our understanding of reality, disappearance, and the unknown. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon with another unsettling mystery.